Welcome to cooking cheap, easy, and tasty meals. I'm going to roast some garlic. So I'm going to cut at about 1/3 of the top off. And I'm going to take a piece of foil. Okay, I'm going to knock off a piece that doesn't look real good. And then I'm going to put olive oil, salt, and pepper. I'm going to take these other pieces and just throw them in here. They'll cook. There's not going to be much I can do with them, but they'll be at least cooked. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to put them in the air fryer at 380 degrees for between 16 and 20 minutes. We'll start at 15 and see how it does. Okay, I'm going to take our garlic that we've just roasted. I've let it cool for a little while. And if you look, it's a nice brown color. Really nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this to our butter. Okay, I'm going to add a second bit of roasted garlic. The garlic just pushes out of there generally, but you might want to wait until it's a little cooler so you don't burn yourself, which I should have done, but it's not too bad. What I'm making today is Turkey Kiev meatballs. When I was, I don't know, probably in my 20s, maybe my late teens or 20s, I remember my mother coming home with this recipe that everybody was making. She was in home economics, and everybody in the food group was raving about this new thing called Chicken Kiev. I don't think it was that new, but all of a sudden it was just popular. And what it is, chicken stuffed with a butter, garlic, and parsley, so that when you eat it, it pops out this enormously flavorful mixture of garlic and butter. I remember the first time I ate it, it was like, it's spectacular. Now this recipe is should be a little easier. The big problem with regular Chicken Kiev is you had to take the chicken, you had to flatten it, you had to put the butter in the middle, you had to roll it around, and you had to use toothpicks, and then you had to dip it, and it just became fairly complicated. This is different in that we're going to use two differences. I'm going to use turkey, ground turkey, instead of, I could use ground chicken, but I just had some ground turkey. And you can flatten out the piece of turkey very easy. The ground turkey, you put the butter in the middle of it, and you fold it on top, and it's a lot easier to put together. Now, this is ready. What I'm going to do is put it in the freezer so it will become a solid again, because what I want to be able to do is take a chunk of it and put it inside each of the meatballs. The next part of this, I've got to chop up an onion. I'm going to take a yellow onion and cut it. Try and roll your fingers in when you're doing this so you don't cut them, which has certainly saved my fingers. Turn it sideways. And now I'm going to go ahead and put those in this pan. I don't think it matters how small they are. That's probably enough for what I want to do. So I'm going to save the rest of them for later. The next thing we want to add to that is the turkey. Now this is a little over a pound, so I'm probably going to use the whole thing. Again, you could use chicken. I just had the turkey already for something else and thought I'd go ahead and use it. The turkey and chicken are both real wet, so I'll put that in there. It's a little more than a pound. That's about 1.25 pounds. So we're going to make the recipe accordingly. Now we want a large egg. I'm going to go ahead and mix that up. Use a fork to start with. Just to get it mixed up a little bit. We've got a few more things to add, but let's just get this much started. Break it up a little bit. Okay, it's a nice wet mixture, isn't it? Okay, now we're going to add about 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs. I'm going to start off adding 1/4 cup just to get a feel for how that's going to do, because really I'm just trying to make the mixture a little more manageable because it's so wet. Yeah, that's not bad. Probably a little bit more. Let's add another 1/4 cup. That should be plenty. That's going to be a nice mixture, easy to work with. All right. Now you could fry these, but I'm going to use my air fryer to make these, just to make it a little easier. Now I want to add some salt and pepper. I'm going to add about 10 or 12 grinds of pepper. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt. Mix that all up. It's coming together really nicely. Now, the other thing I have is I have another piece of garlic that I roasted. So I'm thinking I might add that in here too. So what I'm going to do is get a bowl, squeeze all that out, and break it down a little bit before I add it into this. Okay, so there we have a bunch of roasted garlic. And we'll take this fork, I'm going to mash this up. One thing about roasted garlic, it is not as intense as fresh garlic. It's really sweeter. Adds a lot to a dish. So I'm going to add that in here. Roasted garlic is, frankly, it's a good addition to everything. Maybe not cookies. It's savory, especially anything that you normally would have garlic. Roasted garlic is just a little sweeter and gives it a different flavor. Now, I'm going to make some balls of turkey. Take this 1/4 cup. And I'm going to make these just 1/4 cup balls of turkey to start with. Then I got to flatten them and roll them and add the butter mixture. But I thought I'd start getting these done. I'm going to pat this out into a little bit of a circle. I'm going to take this, put it in my hand, and I'm going to put a piece of that inside of it, and I'm going to seal that shut. Make a nice ball out of it. Give me another one. Take that in there, put that in there, roll the meat around it again. So what we're doing is we're putting that frozen garlic butter on the inside. So hopefully we're going to end up with a nice garlic butter flavor. A little bit more, I think, on the inside. If you don't like working with raw meat, you probably shouldn't try this recipe. Okay. I think we might make it. All right. then we're going to this last, because we're not going to waste any of this for sure. All I'm trying to do is get it on the inside as much as I can. Roll it around. Okay, so now we have 11 meatballs. I'm going to spray the inside of my air fryer basket. A little oil. And I'm going to put them in here, a few at a time. And I'm going to cook those first and see how that does. Okay, I'm going to cook these at 350 for 12 minutes. And I'm going to turn them or shake them at halfway. So if you notice, these came out golden brown and they look pretty good. So what we're going to do is get ready to have some for dinner. Now for the second batch, I have some panko breadcrumbs, which I thought I would open and dip these in to see if it changes the texture when we prepare them in the air fryer. There's already an oil on the surface of this, of my pan, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to dip each of these, cover them really well in panko. They don't appear to expand at all, which I really didn't expect them to, but they should sit right where I put them. I'm going to put them in for 12 minutes and turn them halfway. Okay, here they are after 12 minutes. Let's see what the internal temperature is. Better than 165, so we're in good shape. Now, let's compare. The only real difference is this has a panko breadcrumb. I don't think it made a whole lot of difference. Maybe it held in some of the juices because they were about the same size and they appear to be larger. But frankly, I don't see enough difference to have justified taking the extra effort. And by the way, I have eaten some of these. They're excellent. It's very similar to the traditional Chicken Kiev recipe. These are very similar flavored. I think the thing I would do differently the next time I make these is add more butter, garlic, and parsley in the middle. They're actually delicious. You can taste it, but that would be a nice addition. Turkey works very well with this. I think this turned out to be an outstanding recipe. I hope you try it and enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and give us a like. Thank you.